For more on all this, we're going to bring in now Texas Congressman Jodey Arrington to talk about this. Sir, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Great to be with you, Rob.
Start with that new poll. Looks like about 2/3 of Americans now realizing how ridiculous this border policy is. That's good news right there, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, Democrats take the American people as fools. They understand the cause and effect of these open border policies. They understand that Kamala Harris is really a joke as a border czar. She is the lead open border advocate. She's the one during the campaign that said she wanted to decriminalize border crossings and give free health care to illegal immigrants. But worse than the insult to the American people's intelligence is the abandonment, the complete dereliction of responsibility, not any responsibility, but the first responsibility to protect, defend our borders, protect our people, and to faithfully execute the laws of the land. None of that's happening, and the Constitution is clear. States have the sovereign power to defend themselves, their borders, their people, and enforce the laws when the federal government fails them, and that's what's happened in this case.
As far as the wall goes in Texas, you know, you've got I mean, a lot of your border you don't need a wall for. I understand that, but you do have a long stretch of land that borders Mexico. How realistic is the plan to build that in Texas? I mean, it's got to be terribly expensive, right?
Well, it will be, and I believe, like most Americans, that this is the first duty and mission of the federal government to provide for the common defense, but we're not going to be passive victims in Texas. Yeah. And there are plenty of motivated, independent, strong Texans that are going to say, we're not going to wait on the federal government. We are going to do the job to protect our families and our communities. And again, the Article 4 in the Constitution guarantees to every state the protection against an invasion. And Article 1, Section 10 says when that doesn't happen, the states can step up and defend themselves and their people. And you're going to see more of this, Rob. And I support it. My resolution doesn't empower states with greater authority. It simply affirms their inherent constitutional right to do what you're seeing done by many states. And like I said, I think you're going to see more of it, and I think it's totally appropriate.
Interesting. You know, it seems clear that the liberals don't seem to care much for the quality of life for people that live in these border communities, in these border states. But this headline should get their attention. The situation for unaccompanied minors is also getting worse. The headline here says the level of distress among migrant boys and girls held by the U.S. government at a tent city in the Texas desert has become so alarming that they are constantly monitored for incidents of self-harm, panic attacks, and escape attempts. It's amazing to see how bad this has gotten for these kids, and I think that's got to wake a lot of people up.
Well, the kids are used as passports. The federal government, our government, has abandoned its citizens, and they have nothing to do with enforcing the laws and securing our border. The folks in control, Rob, are the drug cartels. They're very organized, very sophisticated, and very lethal. And in fact, they're really paramilitary narco-terrorists. They prey on these vulnerable people. 1 out of every 3 women is sexually assaulted. And so the blood symbolically on the hands of this administration and the complicitness of this administration is not just in not protecting the American people, but allowing this humanitarian crisis to persist. And it is epic. And if they would have gone to the border by now, they would have seen it for themselves, but they don't want to take responsibility for that.
It is something else. Just to switch gears for a second here, the GOP today halted Democrats' signature voting bill. It's a big moment. S1, also known as the For the People Act. You've been tweeting about this today. I guess it's not a huge surprise, but it's got to be a big sigh of relief. What do you think happens next year?
Well, look, this sort of bill to concentrate more power in Washington and have a federal takeover of elections, to basically prohibit states from using photo identification to register to vote, to basically legitimize what's happened in California, which is a racket, otherwise known as ballot harvesting. to weaponize the Federal Election Commission, which is supposed to be the neutral arbiter on claims of fraud. All of this wrapped into this this bill that they falsely claim is for the people. Oh, by the way, it's for the politician because it takes taxpayer monies up to $1,200 per politician and subsidizes their campaigns. So this is not for the people. This is not for integrity. This undermines democracy. And the heart of democracy is election integrity. And we consent to be governed through this process, this electoral process, and they want to codify the broken, slipshod, lax voting policies with the excuse of COVID in 2020. So I just as soon have this debate, Rob, because they need to be exposed for the real substance of this bill and the real damage to our republic. But they're not going to get a chance. But I welcome that debate any day and every day, because the American people need to see really what's behind this federal overreach, this raw power grab by the Democrats.
Understood. Texas Congressman Jodey Arrington. Sir, thank you so much for the time. Good to see you.